Hey y'all, I'm back, honey. Jamie, that's me here, and I'm here to talk more about Love Island USA. Now, of course, we did not get an episode last night, but we did get something else. We did get something else. And for the people that may be completely clueless of what I'm talking about, that is a statement written and on camera from Miss Cierra. Yes, Nick's former coupling, his former Islander partner that was released from the villa due to a lot of you guys, a lot of you fans, right? You guys stayed on the necks of the producers calling out Love Island USA about not removing her for a racial slur that she used in the past, similar to Yulissa, right? People wanted the same accountability across the board. And when I tell y'all, it's a bit interesting, and we are going to get into it. We're definitely going to get into what it is she had to say, the screenshots that she put up, as well as the statement that she released. Now, before we get into that, I do want us to slide over and tap into an interview that Miss Andrina did with Variety, where she talked about Huda, the heart rate challenge, everybody's reaction to it, and she also touches on Jeremiah and where that situation stands. Okay, so we'll get into that. Make sure you're coming into the video, you're liking up the video. Okay, commenting, subscribing, sharing the video. Shout out to everybody that has helped me get this far. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. We're getting really, really close to hitting that 97,000 subscribers. So if you have yet to subscribe, please go ahead and make sure that you do that. And we definitely appreciate it. Okay. But let us go ahead and get ready to discuss this heart rate challenge and Andrina's interview. The first thing that we have here from Andrina is this particular question here where they say the heart rate challenge was another big moment, especially with Ace and Huda's performance. What happened off camera that made that so shocking? And she says, we were all speechless. We were all like, oh my God, what is happening? She did something with every single guy, but then she took Ace and took a long time with him. We were all looking at Chelley and she looked like she was feeling some way. We all agreed that it was a little too much. I told Huda that when she pulled Amaya and me for a chat. Okay, she says, I told Huda that when she pulled her for a chat. She says that wasn't shown. I know it's been a big topic with people saying that I twisted the words. I told her, I think this is why Shelly's mad because you did a little too much with Ace. Challenges are your opportunity to show who you want or like more. I told Huda you have to explain to Shelly why you picked Ace to do extra stuff with. Okay. Um, that is what she said. I know she feels like that was not shown on camera, but actually, I feel like that is something that we did indeed see on camera. But let us go ahead and keep going because there was more. They asked her what was her take on Huda's reaction to Shelly being upset with her and not wanting to talk about that night. She goes on to say Huda didn't realize what she was doing. I don't know why you started it with that girl. She knew exactly what it was she was doing. That's one. After she did it, she was like, oh my God, I fucked up. She has genuine feelings for Shelly and she felt bad. I told her that she had to pull Shelly for a chat. Shelly for a chat and explain everything that she told me and Amaya. But Shelly didn't want to hurt her feelings and say something rude because she was heated. I remember she told us that she didn't want to talk to Huda that night. So I understand Huda going to other people and being like, oh my gosh, Shelly's mad at me. Because at that moment, she couldn't speak to her. You could feel the tension though. I don't think she was trying to manipulate us or the situation. She just wanted to talk about it because she actually cared for Shelly. All right. So that is what it is that Andrina had to say. It seems like she was trying to show a bit of support, to Huda as she's doing this interview, but also being very clear that she too felt like Huda was doing a little too much. All right. I know a lot of the Huda rats would like to think, okay, that wasn't the case, but clearly go back and watch the videos. Okay, everybody in the villa, including the guys, felt like Huda did too much, and it is what it is. Okay, the girls are in a better place at this time. All right, now another thing that I want us to tap into is also when she was asked about Jeremiah. So let us get that up on the screen. And they asked her, have you heard from Jeremiah since leaving the villa? She says, I reached out to him mainly because I noticed that many people were interpreting my yes to Ace in a different context when I got my phone back. She says, I wanted to explain that wasn't what I meant, but we haven't talked since then. Did he respond to your message? He responded. We might talk this week. He has my number, so he can call me. Would you be interested in continuing that connection? She says, yes. At the same time, I feel some way that he knows me in person and has an idea of who I am. I wanted to explain to him why I said yes. It wasn't in a negative way. If that's all it took for him to be like, oh, never mind, then I don't know if he will be the right fit for me. Okay. So that is what Andrina had to say about that situation with Jeremiah. I told you guys when she said the yes, she didn't get a chance to even say anything extra because Ace took that yes and went on and did what he wanted to do with it. I wish that she would have been a bit more mindful, in that moment of how she said, yeah. I wish she would have been able to say, yeah, but it wasn't no issue. Like, I had no issue with it. Like, I wish she would have been able to get that out. But it is what it is. And it's up to Jeremiah, if he want to talk to her, he will. If he doesn't, he doesn't. If it goes somewhere, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Honestly, when I watched Jeremiah do that sit down conversation with Jalen over on TikTok when they were doing that and Drina was brought up, he was like he was gonna definitely hear her out. But then when he was reading the comments and seeing how people say, oh, she doesn't deserve a chance and this and that, then he's like, oh no. It's like, Jeremiah, baby, do what it is that you want to do and don't let these people direct you in what you should do with your damn life, okay? And I'm gonna have to quote Cierra here. When Cierra tells Amaya, don't let these people tell you how to be Amaya, okay? Don't let these folks tell you how to be Jeremiah. If you're interested in getting to know Andrina outside of the villa, she's showing her interest. It may or may not work out with you guys. I feel like give her the opportunity to explain what it is that she meant by that. Maybe you'll get a better understanding. And with her giving you that understanding, it's going to be completely different, in my opinion, from the agenda that Ace had set up about you. Okay, Ace was gunning for you from the very beginning. Whatever you were doing in your coupling with Huda technically was none of his business until disrespect came into play, right? I've never seen on Love Island USA where there have been couples that's been so enthralled, okay, or not even a couple couples, but one person so focused on what somebody else is doing in a connection unless they're interested in one of those people, right? But that interest is also likely expressed. But the way he was like nitpicking and y'all scamming and y'all this and y'all that, like he was doing too damn much. Okay. I haven't seen any of that. Like that's what you may pull on Love Island games, but not on Love Island USA. So Ace definitely did too much. And luckily for him, he was able to stay in the villa longer, although he should have got his ass out a long time ago. But that's aside, besides the point. But luckily for him, this week was a turnaround moment for him because a lot of people started to feel like, you know what, Ace won me over. I couldn't stand Ace at first, but he won me over this week because it actually felt like Love Island again. All that other stuff, y'all was playing Love Island games or something, honey. Okay. But now it started to feel like Love Island again for like the past 2 weeks. And he's won the people over. So I'm definitely sure he's won some votes. And we shall see. They might win the show. And you know what else is interesting? Speaking of winning the show, they asked Andrina about who did she think should win the show. And she said the couple that she thinks deserves to win is Chelley and Ace because she sees them as the realest couple. They've been together for the longest and they have real feelings. All right. So that is what she said. And I'll be honest. If they win, I would not be mad. If Amaya wins, I'm here to support. I wouldn't be mad. Okay. Those would be, in my book, the only two couples that I would really like to see win the show overall. Aside from that, when it comes to my big three, it would be them two, and I would have to add Olandria to that to be the final top three couples standing at the end. But those are my thoughts, all right? In the meantime, in between time, there is another portion that I want us to check out. And before we get into Cierra's statement and what it is she has to say, I want us to check out a clip from Zach. All right. Zach, yes, Zach. Y'all know Zach that just got kicked out of the villa, Zach with a K. Yes, he kind of spoke a tad bit on Cierra leaving and how they learned about her leaving and things. So we'll get into that. So let's do it.
How did Cierra leave? So I can't really say, but when Cierra left, they gathered us all together. The producers gathered us all together, and then they said, unfortunately, Sierra's has broken some of the policies of our guidelines. She will no longer be here in the villa, and that's the only information we can give you guys. So when we was all in there, we didn't really know what was going on, but that's the only thing they said to us. And if we needed somebody to speak to, go speak to them. But yeah, Nick was really upset that she left, but at the same time, he couldn't really be super upset, or like he couldn't express how he feels about the situation until he found out what she's done or what she's said. Because at the end of the day, as much as like you want to feel sorry for somebody, if they got removed from a show for saying something offensive, you can't really feel sorry for them until you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? How did Cierra leave? So I can't really say, but when Cierra left, the gavel.
All right. So you guys just heard what it is that he had to say. They were all still a bit confused as to what was going on, why, and how things were happening at that time. So that's that. I guess it's good to know that Nick was a bit upset. I mean, was he upset that she was really leaving, or was he upset that his coupling left? So therefore, it threatened his position on potentially winning the show overall. All right. But as I said, Miss Cierra did come to social media late at night. She dropped a video for everyone, and she also dropped a statement. And I want us to take some time, and I want us to check out what it is that she had to say.
I know a lot of people have been waiting for me to speak up about the news that's come to light recently, and now that I've been back in the US for about 48 hours and I've had the chance to process, I now feel like I'm at a space where I can speak about this without being highly emotional, because I am not the victim in this situation. While I was in the villa, there were some posts that resurfaced from my past where I was very naively using an incredibly offensive and derogatory term. And before I get into the details, I want to first start by addressing not just anyone that I have hurt or deeply offended, but most importantly, the entire Asian community. I am deeply, truly, honestly so sorry. I had no idea that the word held as much pain, as much harm, and came with the history that it did, or I never would have used it. I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse, because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't. And I just need you to know that I am so sorry, but this is not an apology video. This is an accountability video. I do want to hold my hands up and say that I take accountability for using the word, but I do want it to be known that I genuinely had no idea that it was a slur. I had no idea of its meaning, and it wasn't until I made the public story post in 2024 when a follower of mine reached out to correct me and let me know that what I was saying was incredibly hurtful. It was a derogatory term.
Pause. Okay. Someone let her know that what she said was hurtful. They said it's unacceptable and incredibly hurtful to be using that word, especially in this context, as if it's a negative thing to have Asian eyes. Okay. Okay. Now listen, I'm with them. I never understood that. Okay? Like I thought people wanted to have eyes, shaped like, Asians. Um and I've never really, let's just keep going. All right. I definitely understand that though. Like it's a negative thing. For me, let me speak for myself. I never thought that was negative to have their shape of eyes. But anywho, she says, you've lost a follower. I hope you use this opportunity to grow. Now, this was back in January of 2024. This was a year ago. Now, I know people were surfacing around a video that she did in 2015. Right. And if she's 25 years of age, because I feel like some people came on the show and lied about their age. And, the video that was surfacing, and she was, they're saying it was like, what, 2015. So that means she was way younger, not even an adult then. I feel like if people did stuff when they weren't even an adult, I don't think that really should be held against them, because they're always evolving and learning. But then I also feel like it depends on what's being said, right? If you've committed like a serious crime, then they're going to always hold that against you, period. Right? As they should, in my opinion. But I feel like the world has evolved so much in the past 10 years to where I don't think it should have been held against her from things that may have been said that many years ago, because what we're more sensitive about now, We weren't necessarily then. However, the issue is when you use it in like 2024, girl, this was last year. Like, are you okay? Okay. Now I can't say whether she knew this was a slur or not. I know I was not familiar with it being a slur, but then I also don't hear it a lot and I don't use it, you know. But we learn new things every day, okay? Like I learned the word spaz, right? That word is not a good word to use because it connects to a person's mental, and it's just a negative thing to say. So that's something that I learned recently as well. So I mean, we always learning and stuff, but what's interesting is the fact that they put a message out here making it appear as though she responded to the girl on stuff. Oh, well, good thing I didn't respond like that. Good thing I didn't say X, Y, and Z or whatever it was. And that's not even what she said. It looks like she received what the person had to say. She received it at that time. So she responded. She says, "Hey, Britt, thank you so much for this message. Truly, I am so embarrassed for being so naive and unaware. It's no excuse as the damage is already done. You have every right to be upset for my careless misuse of the word. I do hope you know I had zero ill intention and I didn't mean to cause any harm. Being a person of color and minority myself, I should be a lot more careful with the messages I'm spreading. Thank you for educating me, and I can assure you this word has been removed from my vocabulary, and I'll make an honest effort to make sure no other derogatory words or terms leave my mouth or are shaded to my or I'm sorry or are shared to my audience. Thank you again, and I'm so sorry, making a promise to do better." Listen, that's what she said to the girl. Okay? Now, I don't know what else was shared. Maybe it was capped off with her saying, "Oh, well, good thing I didn't use it in that context." Maybe that way. I don't know. Let's keep going.
It was a slur. And in that moment,
Oh, the girl just said, "Thank you for the thoughtful response. I appreciate it." Now, try why y'all surfaced around the other text, making it appear as though she was like a shrug of a shoulder, like, "Oh, well, good thing I ain't mean it like that. Oh well," type energy when that's not what happened. Ooh, child. Now let me tell y'all, this user over here on X says y'all ruined her Love Island experience and career over something she already took accountability for when she was called out for it in 2024. Oh, everybody gotta die. Everybody gotta die is what they said. Y'all wrong for that. And that is why I said in the beginning, I question everybody's motives. Were you really feeling a way about someone using a term that is very problematic and harmful for the Asian community? Is that what were you really wholeheartedly standing with the Asian community? Or were you doing that in an effort to get her out of the show because you knew she was a top in an effort to propel somebody that you see as a fave? That is crazy. As much as Love Island needs to also do better research and investigation on their people, try some of y'all fans might have to be held accountable for y'all SHI. And I'm just saying, but let's keep going. Just like she needed to be held accountable for what it is that she said, girl. Because I've been seeing some lies y'all been up there trying to cook up about certain people now. Somebody doctored up a whole thing trying to say Chelley used the slur, and it was so inaccurate. Girl, y'all, listen. Some of y'all gonna have to be held accountable. And at this point, I also feel like if you're not saying what you need to say, come on, YouTube, because YouTube is changing their policies just a little bit, not a whole lot, to where, basically you gotta have a real voice, okay? Real voice, real face. Of course, that doesn't mean that voiceover channels won't continue to be monetized or anything like that. They're more so trying to, get these people that are using AI in a not so great way. But also, I feel like if you got a hidden profile, if you're not showing your face, hello, if you're not connected to like a real person, I don't feel like what you have to say should be considered. I don't, because then the other part is, are you even here in America when you're talking your stuff all the way overseas somewhere? I don't know. But, and I'm not just looking at Cierra's situation. I'm just thinking about how this season has been so harmful to the cast based on what people have said and done, child. That's what I'm thinking about. So I feel like if you not putting no face to it and no act and no real voice to it, then I don't even know how much we should consider it, but let's keep going.
Moment, I was embarrassed. I, of course, immediately deleted the post. I was apologetic and I educated not only myself on the true meaning and the history of the word, but also anyone around me who was accidentally holding space for this slur. When this person did message me, which I'm so grateful that she did, I had a good conversation with her about it. I made the correction immediately. The word was immediately removed from my vocabulary. And I think right now there are tons of things floating around, different screenshots with different timestamps, and fueling this narrative that I sort of doubled down once people tried to correct me and was like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm still gonna use it, but that was not the case. Like, the truth is that in that moment, the lesson was learned, the
Boom.
word was removed, and it was a true learning moment for me. And I think since that moment, I've done so much growing as an individual, and I've tried my best to educate others who might be accidentally holding space for these types of words that could be offensive in their vocabulary. I completely agree with the network's decision to remove me from the villa. I think that this is something that deserved punishment, and the punishment has absolutely been received for sure. I think the backlash has obviously been very hard to deal with, but I understand that people are kind of confused on why I would have even said it or why I would have been doubling down and continuing to use it. So I understand where the hate is coming from. And I can do my best to drown out the noise and pay attention to the truth, but what's been extremely, extremely difficult is the way people are approaching my family and my loved ones. They have had ICE called on them. My family doesn't feel safe in their own home. I'm receiving death threats. Like, it's
The death threats are crazy. The ICE calling ICE and all of that, like y'all gotta give it up. Like y'all doing too much. Too much. And I feel like the show will continue to be ruined just a bit, in my opinion, if the producers give over so much power to the audience. Like, we already have some power with us being able to vote and stuff, but some stuff y'all gonna have to gauge what's worth it and what's not worth it. And honestly, if they weren't going to remove Austin from the show for whatever he may have said or did online, I don't even think Sierra should have been removed. As I think about it a little bit more, right? Maybe she shouldn't have won the show overall. IDK. Maybe she should have went ahead and put a statement out while on the show. Not sure. Only for us to learn that she took accountability, whereas Austin got on the internet to tell y'all, "Are you dumb? Are you effing dumb? I have a black woman tattooed on me." Hello, hello. Oh, okay.
there's no need to fight hate with hate. I don't
I
think that
agree.
that's justice. And if you want to know that you're heard and that I'm sorry and that I will move differently, I promise you that's what will happen. I know that no apology could ever be enough for the harm that I've caused and the offense that's taken place. I know that moving forward, my actions and how I decide to live my life from here on out is gonna speak louder than any apology ever could. But I do need it to be known that I am sorry and I did mean no harm. And hopefully, there are people out there that can use my mistake as a learning moment, and to just be better, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take today and tomorrow, and I'm gonna take strides to be better. And all I can ask for is, even if you won't give me forgiveness, if you can just allow me to grow with grace. And hopefully, instead of sitting here and trying to convince you that I am this amazing person who spreads light in the world and celebrates cultures and dynamics and backgrounds, then one day you can see that from me. I'm deeply sorry again, and I thank anyone who's listening. I know a lot of people have.
All right, so that is what Sierra said, but that's not all, because she also does go on to give us another message. All right, this is what Sierra had to say. She says, "I do not and have never condoned racism or the repression of any cultural group in any form. I would never intentionally use any word, especially a slur, to tear down anyone's culture or community. When I used that word, I didn't fully understand what it meant or how much it pain it carries. I learned how deeply wrong it was when I was called out for it in 2024. And as you can see in the screenshot I shared in my video, I was genuinely ashamed and wanted to do whatever I could in that moment to make sure I never made that careless mistake again. My question is to the person that checked her, and they immediately checked her in the comments to tell her, hey, you're using this word, you shouldn't be using it, right? When the story came out saying that, oh, she said this, she said that, she shrugged her shoulders, I wonder, is that person watching the show? Are they tuned in? I wonder if they tried to come out and say, hey, that's not how she responded to me. Actually, here's a screenshot of what she said to me. I wonder, but let's keep going. All right. So the person says, and as you can see, the screenshot I shared in my video, I was genuinely ashamed and wanted to do whatever I could at that moment to make sure I never made that careless mistake again. I know an apology means nothing without real accountability and change. And that's what I've done my best to live up to since then, and what I will continue to do. While I had no ill intention, I fully understand that impact matters more than intent. I don't expect forgiveness overnight. I just hope that in time I can show that I'm more than a mistake, a label, or a character on a highly edited reality show. I'm someone trying to spread love and light even when I get it wrong. And I hope my actions, she says, from here speak louder than this mistake ever did. Okay. She says, my experience in the villa was nothing short of magical. The memories I made and the people I met are ones I'll cherish forever. While I'm heartbroken, my journey had to be cut short. I understand that mistakes, especially ones like this, deserve consequences. Once again, to the Asian community, I am deeply sorry for my thoughtless, mistake and the harm it caused. With love and humility. C. All right, which is interesting that she signed it off as C and not Cierra, because that's how people refer to the word, the C word, the C. Okay, but anywho, that is everything that Miss Cierra had to say. You guys leave your thoughts and comments down below and let me know how you're feeling, knowing that, they put out this narrative that she said the word, but she also said she took full accountability for that. Then when she was called out by one person and not the general masses, she was called out by one person, and since then she has worked on doing a better job at not repeating that same behavior. Had she did repeat that same behavior, I'm sure we would have found more receipts since then to show that she was lying. All right. But I'll leave you guys down. I'll leave you guys to it to, share your thoughts. You're going to do that anyway, because it's just how y'all is. And leave your thoughts and comments down below. What are your thoughts about her telling us more information, sharing the text message, saying she took accountability, and her time on Love Island USA being cut short? I can't appreciate her accepting and acknowledging that changes had to be made. Like, I did what I did. I respect and I agree with the decision to snatch me off. All right. So that is how she's feeling. So she understands it. She stands with the people, that were harmed by this, that did not like or appreciate what was done. And I can appreciate that. Right. I can appreciate that. But you guys leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Of course, I'm Jamie, that's me. Follow me on social media at Jamie, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invade the gym, high elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can fill a pool, we gon' make them swim.